These theories will make you question everything. So remember, this is for entertainment purposes only. Let's check them out.
What's a piece of information that you learned that feels illegal to know? I'll start. I was like 14.
I learned that the 13th Amendment didn't actually abolish slavery. That instead what they do with fathers in this country is that they shackle them to the state court systems using child support. And when the state collects this child support and reports back to the federal government, they receive federal subsidies through Title IV-D of the Social Security Act. In states like Illinois, that money is then deposited into the state's general fund. Yep, you guess where I was going. And then judges and the bureaucracy are paid out to their salary and their benefits through that general fund. There's a financial conflict of interest. Yet fathers who fall behind on child support can have their wages garnished up to 65% of their income for arrears. That is slavery. That's a chattel system. No human being can survive in this country, no working man rather, on 35% of their income.
What's a piece of information that...
I already hear the people in the comment section. I know what you're going to say. Well, don't have kids. It's one side of it. You know what I mean? Or we can look at the system for what it is. You know, we can encourage more fathers to you know what I mean? Help them work with either staying in the kid's life and working with the moms better, fix the relationship, figure out ways, bro. But you cannot sit there and honestly say that this system isn't rigged. Isn't rigged. I know some people who are just what they're paying, and the money ain't even going to the you want to go down that road? Do you want to go down that road? Do you want to go down that road? Because sit there and tell me that all of the money is going to the kid, and I don't have no problem. But we know for sure that, and I mean, you can say probably about 70% of the situations out there, the money ain't going all to the kid. Those moms are just doing whatever, and the kid ain't seen a lick of that money, a dime of it. You know what I mean? And it ain't going to, I know some people are going to be like, well, it's going to the house which the kid lives in. It ain't doing that either. You know what I mean? Moms is going out here and getting BBLs and all kind of stuff.
Child support is a fraud. Explain to us your story, your journey, and why you felt it was necessary to kind of highlight this message.
I found out about my child support case 7 years after it opened. It's payday. Get it. Call from HR. Hey, come check us out. They said, we just got a wage garnishment. They're going to start garnishing your checks effective immediately. I'm like, who's going to start garnishing my checks? They like, child support. I'm like, child support? What do you mean child support? I looked at the notice. I called them, and they telling me, look, man, you had 6 months to respond. It's been 7 years. I'm like, wait, what do you mean it's been 7 years? Child support, they don't do checks nor balances. Mm-hmm. The child in question was conceived when I was 12 years old.
TJ, did you have a kid when you were 12?
I hadn't even reached puberty. I'm like, man, I don't even know why I'm going through this anyway. Like, man, this is fraud. She like, what do you mean fraud? You got served. I said, okay, well, tell me what day I got served. She placed me on hold. She comes back and said, I'm sorry, Mr. Tillman. We don't have your signature. But before I can say anything, she interrupts me and says, well, that don't matter anyway, because you volunteered into the program. I'm like, tell me what day I volunteered. She said, okay. She comes back. I'm sorry, Mr. Tillman. We do not have your signature. I'm going crazy on the phone. People always ask, if it's fraud, how they get away with it? It's not innocent until proven guilty. Prima facie says that whatever is filed, the court's taking it on its face as true and correct until you provide evidence to say that it's not.
Imagine how many people don't know that. Oh, let's get into it tonight then. You want to debate? Imagine how many people are paying, and you can sit there and say, yeah, that's their fault. That is their fault for not doing what he did and saying, what do you mean? Check the signature and go in the back. You know what I mean? I'm just talking about the situations to where the man know he has a child, know he has to pay, but it's like, bro, this system is flawed. And I'm not even paying child support, but the people that I know that are going through certain things, and most dudes I hang around are stand-up dudes. You know what I'm saying? And their one gripe is, like I said earlier, it's not even going towards that. Or we could have handled it amicably. But as soon as the mom felt like I wasn't doing what she wanted me to do, she took me straight down to the court system and put me on child support as like a jab at me or a way to get at me for not doing what she wants, instead of us coming to an agreement. It's like, it's crazy, man. And to hear what he just went through, I'd be spazzing out on the phone too. What you mean?
This is what I'm talking about all the time. Just reading this paragraph right here. She states, the circuit court did not order that payments be made through the Department of Revenue and reserved as the arrearage amount. Therefore, the proper venue for enforcement of any back outstanding child support is through the circuit court. There's no real judges in circuit court. That's why it calls the general magistrate. These people have monetary gain in these cases. That's why dads can never get off. And your lawyer is one of them, bro. She plays you like a fiddle. The proper venue is the district court. No magistrates are in district court. You take it to a superior court, there's no magistrates. Or you take it to the state supreme. There are all real judges in the state supreme. And I can send you more supporting documents proving that child support is fraud. This is what I'm talking about all the
Listen, I feel the same way about some people that are dealing with the child support system, right? I feel the same way. I feel for them. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I'm not going to tell you just go out here and be like, I ain't paying them. All right? I ain't telling you to do that now. I'm telling you to go through the proper channels. Make sure I am clear and you hear me clearly. Because if you got a bitter baby mama, try not paying, fam. You heard buddy in the last slide, they garnishing your wages and they'll take your driver's license. And what's crazy is they let you get so far in the rears. So it's like they build. And then by the time you realize you so far in the rears, bro, ain't no catching up. Ain't no catching up. You got to hit the lottery and pay that off.
How did I represent myself and get off child support? I get asked this question every single day, and it's simple. Everything. I used everything that they filed against me, and I used it against them. The order was signed by an attorney, not a judge. Violation of due process. It was signed by the deputy clerk, not the county clerk. Unlawful. The lien that they put on my name, they didn't renew it after the 10 years. Therefore, it was unenforceable. Their own rules and procedures. The proof of service was invalid. They said that they allegedly served me on a day, which I proved in court that the house was vacant on that day. I subpoenaed Los Angeles Department of Water and Power to testify on my behalf. Yes, I made Los Angeles County testify against Los Angeles County. Everything was used. Nothing was off of the table.
Yo, bro, right here is like a unicorn, fam. He sound like he need to be a lawyer, bro. Listen, a lot of times we don't know that everything was done and gone about the wrong way. Lack of knowledge, lack of information on our part. And if we'd have just gave some pushback instead of just walking away from it and taking it or just saying, I'm not going to pay it, it might play out in our favor. That's definitely a possibility, fam. Now, I'm not saying everybody's going to have the same situation as him. Again, he may be a unicorn, but look through your stuff, make sure everything was done correctly.
Why is when women can't pay for their children, they can get government assistance, but when men can't pay for it, we go to jail?
That's a good question.
Why is when women can't pay for their children?
She couldn't say nothing. You know what I mean? She was stuck. Would that be considered equality for men? Men's equality? Would that be? Interesting.
It seems to me that as early as the 1940s, the United States Supreme Court has held that there is an absolute liberty interest, a fundamental liberty interest that parents have in the care, custody, and control of their children. That's been on the books forever. I have a whole bunch of Supreme Court cases I can read from. That's just going to waste a lot of time. They have that fundamental constitutional right. And it
is
cannot
true.
be impaired without due process of law.
And where the qualified immunity analysis and the clearly established law plays into this is, do we have case law that tells us that
No. If you've read Help versus Pelter, there doesn't have to be case law. There can be other ways of showing that it's clearly established. Case law is not an absolute requirement.
it is.
Have you read Hope versus Pelzer and all the other cases that talk about that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, there does not have to be a case on all fours.
You're correct.
Correct.
There does not have to be a case on all fours.
Right. What isn't clearly established here?
Like, listen, man, it shouldn't be this complicated when dealing with child support, right? I feel like the good fathers, not the bad ones who just trying to escape paying, period. I ain't talking about them. I'm never being an advocate for somebody who doesn't want to take care of their responsibilities. Let's get that clear, number one. Number two, I feel like the good ones are just fighting to be fair. Like, leave me something to kind of take care of myself. Even though I'm going to put my kid first, my kid is always going to come before me. I'm always going to go without. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm paying to make sure he's at, leave me something to be able to pay my bills and take care of myself. You know what I mean? Because I feel like when you do that, you also drive more of a wedge between the father and the child. Because there's resentment now of how he's feeling like the court system and his baby mother is doing him. So it's pushing the father further away from the child. They're already split down because of this situation, but this is driving them further. I feel like, you know what I mean? If we're going to ever get things back in order to where families are together and stuff like that, or a lot more fathers are in their children's life, we got to figure some things out, man. And child support is one of them.
Child support class action. The federal child support program is an abject failure because even though they collected $32 billion in 2018, they have engaged in mass deprivation of rights, human violation rights. So I want to launch a class action against the federal program. The lawsuit will be seeking the recovery of all child support and damages in the amount of $672 billion. Stay tuned for updates, but in the meantime, I want you to drop the name of your state in the comments. Child support.
Yeah, that's another thing, man. How is it for like each state? So if you're paying child support right now, put in the comment section what state you're living in. And how is the situation, or how do you pay? What's it like for the state that you're in and how it affects you? Put that in there. You know what I mean? I didn't even think about each state having, you know what I mean, different ways or different things you got to do. Different hoops you got to jump through.
If you send money to your child's other parent and it is for the purpose of child support, make sure you put that in the memo. Don't you dare exchange cash. To a drug dealer, you better transmute that money into somewhere and figure it out. When you make those payments and you do not put in the memo child support, you have just gifted her or him money. You can put recurring payments. If you're writing a check, put it in the memo of the check. Don't you dare exchange cash. You will not get credit for that. If you send money to your child,
My thing is, bump that. If you ever put me on child support, we going through the proper channels so I have all my receipts. You know what I mean? If I'm sending you something, it'd be through Zelle or it'll be through some kind of something where I can keep a record of it. You know what I mean? Make you give me a receipt with your signature. Something. We got to do it some kind of way. And then at the end of the year, at the beginning of the year, who files for the tax? I guess that's another argument back and forth. The father wanting to file, the mother wanting to file. Somebody sneaks and files behind the other person's back. I done heard it all.
Here's a secret child support agents don't want you to know. Child support is based on guidelines, not laws. They are the outlaws, not you. Asking for a copy of said guidelines may cause your case to suddenly close. Bet. Here's a secret child support.
Listen, man, a lot of dudes right now is like, okay, I'll try that. They at the point to where they'll try anything at this point.
The plaintiff, Brittany Plotz, has a monthly support obligation of $92 child support.
Why is the child support so low? Because I pay like $200 a month, $300 a month for one kid.
And so you haven't been making payments again here on a regular basis. Why is that?
Well, we're moving out by the 25th, so like it's been, and then I go to jail on the 13th, so it's kind of been, I haven't been able to make no money or nothing. And we just started packing a week ago.
Obligation of $92 child support, $36 medical support, for a total of $128 a month, with $50 ordered on arrears. She currently owes the defendant $184, the state $111.16, fees $550, total owing $845.16. Last payment received was a $1,200 bond payment on March 10th, 2023, $200 December 16th, 2022, a $525 bond payment July 19th, 2022. She does have prior contempts.
All right, and ma'am, do you agree that you owe the amount stated?
Yes.
Yes, all right. And so you haven't been making...
So how she know? That lady spat that out so fast, I don't even know what she got to pay. But it did sound like a pretty good bit. Like, what's the most y'all have heard? I wanted to ask that question. What is the most? Not like celebrities, because I've heard celebrities paying tens of thousands or you know what I mean, 50, 75, 100,000. It depends on you know what I mean, how big the celebrity is and what they make, you know? I don't think that you just be funding the kid's lifestyle. You be funding the kid and the mom's lifestyle. But what's the, like, for normal 9-to-5 working everyday jail, what's the highest type of child support payment you've heard of? Put it in the comment section.
One thing we love is a sister that perseveres. And last year when Nia Long faced so much adversity, we saw her hold her head up high and show us that she was not going to stop blowing out here in these streets. And now we know why. She knew she was going to be all right regardless. Nia and her former fiancé, Mr. Ime Udoka, have come to a settlement regarding their 12-year-old son, a child support settlement where he agreed to pay her $32,500 a month. Might seem a lot to you guys, but Mr. Udoka actually earns $465,000 a month as an NBA coach. He used to be the Boston Celtics coach. And if you're doing the math, that's not even 10% of his monthly salary. So some people are saying that she got a little bit shorted, where she could have gotten $46,500 if it was based on 10% of his, check, but instead she got $32,500. The thing is, after this man pays her that child support every month, he still will have $430,000 a month. Okay, so it ain't doing too much to him. That's a drop in the bucket. I'm sure he's not complaining, but good for you, Nia. If you like it, we love it. Congratulations, girl. One thing we love.
Yeah, I remember that whole situation. Y'all remember that? That was, if you watch sports, that was crazy. That was so caught off guard. And for us that grew up loving Nia Long, we was like, yo, somebody would actually do that to Nia Long? You know how many of us loved her growing up, bro? Oh my gosh. Goddess. You know what I mean? She rank up there with the likes of Halle Berry. But yeah, he did kind of, I thought it would have been way more than $32,000 a month. Like, even though $32,000 a month ain't nothing to sneeze at. You know what I mean? I thought like she said, he kind of made out pretty good. Pretty good for the whole situation that happened and how it played out and came out, and how she was she was utterly embarrassed in this whole situation. But
it's about time I let you in on a little secret. There's no around the bush way to say this, so I'll just say it. Texas said if you're the non-custodial parent, we're going to make you pay for your child because we tired of paying. Everybody's so up in arms about this new Texas child support law, but Texas been sick of y'all. Been. As long as I've been a family law attorney, it's always been that if the obligor of child support is intentionally underemploying himself, like quitting his job to avoid child support, then the court can assess child support amounts based upon your earning potential. Now let's go ahead and get into this new law since everybody's so upset. If the obligor of child support is unemployed or underemployed, the court can now order you to get a job or enroll in the employment program. The court can also order the obligor to participate in job training or placement services. Now, of course, there's always exceptions to the rule. 1, if the obligor is not physically or mentally fit to work. 2, obligors that are still in school or in training full-time. 3, if the obligor is unemployed due to circumstances beyond their control, such as a layoff. 4, obligors who are under the age of 18 and take care of a child. If you cannot comply with this new law's requirements, the court will allow you to file a petition stating the reason for your non-compliance, and the court will make a determination on whether to give you an exception or not. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, but before I let you go, I have some very exciting news. Now, y'all know my office is in Dallas. Y'all know this. But that don't stop y'all from...
Listen, man, that's why I keep saying, bro, you better know how it is for that state that you're in. Like, you could be required to, like, you miss a payment, that could be super bad for you. Or you quit and think you just gonna run off and not have a job, to which I've heard so many people think that's the way to go, to which at some point in life, you're gonna want to do good for yourself. You're gonna wanna establish yourself. You're gonna wanna get a home. You're gonna wanna get a car. You may wanna start another family. You may want to get your life together. And it's gonna be just like a student loan, bro. You're gonna be so far in arrears of this child support. And not to mention, man, fam, like, what does that do to your son? You don't even have no relationship with your son or your daughter. Like, that's the part of me that I can never condone. You know what I mean? No matter what me and the mom is going through, the child support system, whatever, nothing's stopping me from having a relationship with my kid. You know what I mean? That's just me, who I am. Nothing would stop me. That bond will forever be there. And as long as I'm allowed to, I'm going to be there. No matter if I'm dead broke from paying child support and I ain't got a dime to my name, I'm still going to figure out how to be around and see my son and be a part of his life, or daughter.
For all the deadbeats about how much you pay in child support, we're going to break down how...
Story time. No, please go check out that video. It gives the mathematics of what a person should be paying for child support, whatever is interesting. I'll watch the whole thing. So now, when it comes to the father of my children, he has 4 children in total, 2 with me, 2 with another mom. The other mom and I are actually best friends now and have been a support for each other.
That's good.
So he had one with her in 97. Sorry, my hair's driving me nuts. It happens all the time. One with her in 97, I think it was. One with me in 2004. Then back with her. Had one in 2009. And then 2010 with me, which is my youngest. And when they did their final separation, they got the ruling in 2010, I want to say, or 2011, of what he should be paying her, which was based on minimum wage at the time. He was not working on any books. He was working under the table. So the judge said, no, we're going to base it on your ability to be able to work and
potential.
What you should be making working minimum wage. And then, excuse me, sorry, with me in 2013, I took him for child support and sole custody. I was more wanting the custody aspect so that I didn't have to go to him when it came to getting them the counseling they needed and dealing with their health issues and schooling and this, that, and the other thing. I wanted to be able to make the decisions on my own when he abandoned them. So, and disowned them, actually, abandoned and disowned them. So that's why when he didn't go to court, he didn't show up, he didn't care. That's all fine and dandy.
I don't approve of that.
Much like with her, they went by what the minimum wage would be, was at the time, and what he should be paying for 2 kids, which for me was $325 for 2 kids. He never made a payment. The only time we ever saw money was when him and his girlfriend did their income taxes, and his was put through first, so that the government, or Fro, could take it from the refund. Sorry, I need a second. So that Fro could take what his refund would have been, what the GST would have been, and what the OST, I think it is, the 10th check, whatever that is, would have been, and then split it between the two of us. And it made him so angry that they got that. He worked a karaoke host under the table, and then what he would do is he put a karaoke business in his girlfriend's name and had all the money paid to her. And again, laughed it all the way to the bank, making hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars. It didn't matter because you couldn't prove it, right?
Now this I don't condone.
Well, after going a long time without paying, Fro took him to court, again, for her, not me, this was for her, the other ex, and they threatened jail time for him. And what's hilarious is this was in 2018, and then 2 years later the world shut down. So he's gotten away without it. He made one payment, they split it between us, and because he made it to Fro, they split it between us, and he hasn't made another payment. Whatever, it is what it is. I literally don't care, because honestly, to be completely honest, it meant more to me to have him walk away and not continue to hurt them. Because he was abusive to them too. So to me, it was way more worth it than to get money from him than to protect them. And I've done my best to raise them on my own. And, I deal with my health issues. I deal with their health issues. My energy has been put into fighting for them every step of the way with schooling and with their health and trying to get to the bottom of things and support them and do everything I can for them. So, I don't care that I didn't receive a dime from him. I don't care if I ever do receive a dime from him. I'm just glad for them. But I don't understand why men are so against paying child support. I can't understand it. You help make the child, you know what I'm saying?
It's a fact.
This isn't for me though. Like, I'm fine. I don't care about me. I'm talking about the moms who genuinely could use it and need it. We've done fine on our own. We've been fine. I'm just saying, I don't understand it. I don't understand why, like with my ex, there's so much pride in the fact that he gets away without paying child support. I don't know. Maybe I'm not meant to understand it. But if you're only ordered to pay a couple $100s, just pay it. Help out your kid. Anyway.
Like, let me say this, and by no means was I ever meaning, like, I salute all the women who are dealing with, like, fathers who are not present and them holding it down and being both mother and father for their child. I salute them. You know what I mean? My heart goes out to them. All of that. Because that ain't easy. And they do it. It's a lot of women that do it every day. Every single day. And it's rough. And they don't have no support system. And they have to do it. And they do it. So big ups to them. Let me start by saying that. And I'm kind of mad at myself that I didn't say that in the beginning. I didn't want that to go down. You know what I mean? But we do have to acknowledge that the system is also messed up as well. You know what I mean? And like for this young lady here, I feel for her, bro. She would much rather him go not pay nothing than then continue to do damage. Can you blame her? Can you blame her? Like, so salute to all the women that are having to hold it down, be both mother and father, man. Salute to y'all. But y'all get at me in the comment section, man, and let me know what you thought about the child support systems and some situations that y'all dealing with and have gone through or are currently going through with child support and maybe your baby mom or your baby daddy. Put it in the comment section. Let's talk about it. All right. And y'all stick around and stay tuned. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. And till next one, I'm gone.